Everything you've been told about reality is a lie, and deep down, you already know it. You felt it before, haven't you? That strange, unshakable sense that something is missing, that the world around you isn't quite what it seems. You wake up each day, play the roles handed to you, say the things you're supposed to say, and follow the script you've been given since birth. But beneath the surface, a quiet voice keeps whispering. There's something more. Maybe it started as a vague dissatisfaction, a restlessness you couldn't explain. Or maybe life hit you hard. Something broke, something shattered. A crisis, a death, a moment that split your reality in two. Whatever it was, it opened a crack. And once it begins, there is no turning back. Spiritual awakening isn't a single moment of clarity. It's not a flash of light that changes everything forever. It's a process, a transformation, a slow, often painful journey that unfolds in layers. And what most people don't tell you is this: it will shake you, it will break you, it will burn away everything that isn't real. But when you come out the other side, you will never see the world the same way again. This might be the last video you'll ever need on the 12 stages of awakening. Because once you truly understand them, you'll see exactly where you are and what comes next. In the beginning, everything feels normal. You wake up, go about your day, talk to the same people, think the same thoughts. Life seems to move forward as it always has. But then, something shifts. Maybe it's small, a strange feeling, a flash of insight, a moment of stillness where everything feels off. Or maybe it's something bigger, a loss, a betrayal, a breakdown, something that tears away the familiar and exposes the void beneath it. And suddenly, the world you once knew doesn't feel real anymore. You start questioning the foundations, society, religion, history, even your own identity. The beliefs you were taught now feel hollow. The rules you live by seem arbitrary. The conversations you have start to sound scripted, like everyone is reading from the same lifeless manual. You see people sleepwalking through life and realize you used to be one of them. As you begin to pull at the thread, everything starts to unravel. You realize the beliefs you held weren't yours. They were given to you, installed like a program. The education system didn't teach you how to think, only what to think. Religion told you what to believe, but never why. The media didn't inform you, it shaped your perception. And now, as your eyes begin to open, the illusion crumbles. You try to talk about it, to share what you're seeing, but most people don't understand. You're met with blank stares, resistance, or outright denial. You're overthinking. That's just life. Stop questioning everything. But you can't, because now you see. And once the illusion cracks, there's no going back. The comfort you once found in everyday life begins to slip away. Things that used to bring meaning now feel empty. The world starts to feel unfamiliar, almost alien. And a terrifying thought begins to creep in. If everything I believed was a lie, then who am I really? This is where most people panic. They grasp at whatever they can to feel solid again. Some go back to the illusion, pretending they never saw behind the curtain. Others drown themselves in distractions, work, entertainment, substances, anything to avoid facing the void. But those who choose to keep going soon enter the darkest part of the journey. Because when the illusion dies, the self that lived inside it dies too. And that death is not gentle. This is what mystics call the dark night of the soul, the phase of awakening that no one wants, but everyone must pass through. You feel lost, disconnected, and alone. Things that once excited you now seem pointless. You watch relationships fade, conversations lose meaning, and your former life dissolve in front of you. You look around and realize the people you knew are still inside the illusion, still playing the roles they were given. But you can't go back. You've seen too much. And now, you feel like a stranger in your own world. Your mind begins to spiral. The existential dread sets in. Who am I? What's the point of any of this? You start to wonder if maybe you've gone too far, if maybe ignorance was bliss. But it's too late now. You've crossed the threshold. The only way out is through. At this point, everything that no longer serves you begins to fall apart. Old identities, friendships, jobs, beliefs, all of it starts to crumble. And yes, it hurts, because it feels like dying. In a way, it is. The version of you built on conditioning and fear is collapsing, and the ego does not go quietly. It clings, it panics. It tries to pull you back into the old story. This is where many turn around. They numb the pain. They crawl back into the illusion. They convince themselves they were wrong. But if you're brave enough to stay in the fire, to sit with the discomfort, something remarkable begins to happen. In the silence, in the emptiness, in the grief, something ancient stirs. The real you begins to emerge. Not the personality, not the identity, but the soul. And you realize what is dying isn't you. It's everything you were never meant to be. This is the purge, the clearing, the destruction before rebirth. And though it feels like an ending, it's really the beginning. From here, the path of the seeker begins. The hunger for truth ignites. You start reading books you'd once dismissed. You dive into ancient teachings, mysticism, philosophy, psychology, quantum theory, anything that resonates. You're not just reading to know, you're reading to remember. You begin to see patterns, connections, synchronicities. The puzzle pieces start aligning. A book appears at the right moment. A conversation shifts your perspective. A coincidence delivers exactly what you needed. It's as if the universe is responding to your search. And it is. You begin to understand that truth isn't just something you learn. It's something you feel. It's not intellectual, it's experiential. You meditate, reflect, practice presence. Some days you feel like you're uncovering the secrets of existence. Other days you feel completely lost again. That's part of it. But soon something deeper awakens. Intuition. That quiet knowing, the inner guidance that's always been there, but now you finally trust it. You begin noticing energy. You feel it in rooms, in people, in words. You sense things before they happen. You stop needing proof because you know. And that knowing isn't coming from the mind. It's coming from something far older, far wiser. You start to realize you are no longer living from the world. You are living through it. But the deeper you go, the lonelier it gets. You try sharing your truth, but most people aren't ready. Some mock you, others distance themselves, and you begin to accept not everyone is meant to wake up in this lifetime. And that's okay, because now, for the first time, you're not seeking approval. You're seeking truth. And then, the greatest illusion begins to crumble. The illusion of self. You thought awakening was about gaining knowledge, but it's actually about losing everything you thought you were. The ego begins to unravel. You no longer feel the same attachment to your story. Your identity, your achievements, your beliefs, all feel like costumes you've outgrown. You see the ego for what it is, a mask, a survival mechanism, a program. At first, the mind resists. It fights to maintain control. But soon, a strange peace sets in. You stop needing validation. You stop overreacting. You stop fearing judgment. You understand that most suffering came from your attachment to a false identity. Once that identity dissolves, you experience true freedom. A weight lifts. A stillness arrives, and within that stillness you feel it. You are not your thoughts. You are not your mind. You are not even your name. You are something deeper, infinite, silent, timeless. This realization unlocks your final gift, surrender. Not surrender in defeat, but surrender in trust. You stop forcing, you stop chasing, you allow. And in that surrender, life begins to move through you. Miracles happen. Synchronicities accelerate. You no longer operate in fear. You operate in flow. Because fear, it was never real. It was just the mechanism of control. Every system, every rule, every belief that kept you small was built on fear. And now it holds no power over you. This is true liberation. Not the kind sold by the world, not money, not status, not control. This is internal, sovereign, unshakable. You wake up each day without the weight of expectation, without the need to explain or defend your existence. You no longer seek, because now you remember. You were never lost. You were never broken. You were only asleep. And now you are awake. So the only question that remains is, what will you do with this freedom?